Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by yours truly, Chris. Hey, everybody, welcome. As always, I would like to let you all know that you can catch this podcast at castingfor2.com or iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Radio Public, all those good places. And, of course, if you'd like to keep in touch with me, you can do that on my Twitter and Instagram, both at castingfor2. Sponsors of the shows, Spencer Box and Comic Bento. Go sign up. Links are in the description, along with promo codes that you can use to save some money. You're welcome, by the way. And, of course, Sunday Brunch, taking a little break right now, but now would be the perfect time to catch up on any episodes that you may have missed. So you can always do that at sundaybrunchpod.com or find it on those other places that I mentioned earlier. And, of course, check out tipsywriter.com, who, Megan and I do that show. So go do that. Okay. So I was hurrying through that intro. Now I have nothing but time. I guess I'll do a longer intro for my guest today. My guest is a wonderful guy. He is based in Seattle from the band A View of Earth from the Moon, Mr. Jonathan Fickes. Jon Fickes is on the show for episode number 227. And honestly, I'm not saying this, but his new album, Closer to a Ghost, is probably one of my favorite albums that I've listened to this year. And I've listened to a lot of albums this year, let me tell you that. And I enjoy this album so much, and I recommend people go and pick it up right now if you like 90s rock. It's not 90s rock, it's now rock. But, there's that influence. But I'm going to stop talking, all right, because we need to get into this episode. So sit back, relax, and Chris, cue the music, please. First off, let me ask you, what time do you wake up normally?
Oh, man. Well, I don't sleep. I think I sleep like 2 hours a night. So I wake up around 4, and then I go back to sleep for a few minutes. Then I wake up around 4:45, and then I go back to sleep for another few. No.
I was going to say, what?
That's the routine typically.
Oh, okay. But you're fine?
Yeah, I mean, everything so far seems to be all right.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's just because normally, how I think is, okay, I didn't get good sleep tonight, so I'll get good sleep tomorrow or the next day.
It's a lottery. It's all up to the fates at this point.
Gotcha. Now, can you not go to sleep because you're working, or you're just your brain is constantly moving and you need to write stuff down, or is it just because there's good TV?
I'm always thinking about stuff.
Gotcha.
Like, so I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I remember this happening when I've been doing this forever. I remember this happening when I got out of like music school. Though this is sort of like it's still what happens, but I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would be like, in my mind, arpeggiating a D minor triad, like over and over again, like just out of control. I'd be going D, F, A, D, F, A, like a D minor triad. I'm not sure if you know what I mean by that, but
yeah,
just like ridiculous, meaningless stuff like that. They would consume me for like 10 minutes straight, and then I would move on to something else completely ridiculous.
Gotcha. Okay. So,
I'm sure as I'm saying this out loud, yeah, it seems like I need to, maybe it's not that healthy, but that's how it goes.
To each his own, we all have our own sleep. So then I can assume you're a breakfast guy then?
I'm a breakfast fan, yeah.
Okay, what's your best scenario breakfast?
Okay, so I'm vegan.
Okay.
So
Ooh,
there's
I
this
like this.
place. Yeah, there's this place in Seattle called Wayward Cafe. Um, and they've got the lumberjack. They've got the lumberjack, which is everything that I need to get going. I got the tofu scramble and the hash browns and the pancakes. Uh, yeah, like the sausage and everything.
Nice.
It's like $14, but it's totally worth
Right, right.
it.
With a name like Lumberjack, you know it's gonna
Yeah.
fill you up. So,
Yeah.
but that's cool. That's cool. As you can see, this is a pretty loose show
Yeah.
where we can talk about sleep patterns and breakfast foods. But one thing I like
More
to
like sleep disorders. I don't know if
sleep.
I'd call it a pattern.
Okay, yeah, this is sleep disorder podcast where we put people to sleep.
No.
Honestly, that would be a great podcast. The podcast you listen to right before you go to
Wouldn't
sleep.
it though? Holy cow. I think we're onto something.
We are. We
Yeah.
can do this. But one thing I like to know when I talk to musicians is when they first got their music bug.
Yeah, for me, it's funny. I had it when I was really, really super young. Like kind of the earliest memories I have are of being a kid and listening to the Monkees, like on cassette
Mm.
tape. My mom was a giant Monkees fan when she was a kid. Um, and we had like cassette tapes. My brother and I would sit in our bedroom. We shared a room when we were really young. And I remember like staring into the boombox and like I could see like the speaker sort of like cone through the mesh of,
Yeah.
of of the outside of the boombox. And in my like childlike mind, I really thought that I could see the monkeys like standing inside the speaker, and I would just put my face like right against the speaker and listen to it. And yeah, and then there's like tons of recordings of me when I was like 7, like with a guitar, just like strumming nonsense and writing songs about going to the zoo and joining the army and stuff like that.
There we go.
So, and you know what? The subject matter has maybe evolved a little bit, but the maturity maybe not so much. But anyway, um, no, and then I think I really got into it was probably when I was like 10 and the Beatles anthology. You've probably seen the Beatles anthology, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That huge documentary that was on TV. Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, I just watched that and I thought they were hilarious. Like I just remember thinking they were just such fun to like it'd just be fun to hang out with them. And so then, I got a paper out and I got a guitar and I just learned all the Beatles songs and like yeah, that's kind of where it really started, I guess.
And I was going to say this because I was listening to the album.
Hmm.
There's a very nice retro feel to it,
Hmm.
which I don't know. Me being a kid of the late '80s, early '90s, I totally got an early '90s. Not grunge exactly, but around there type
No,
deal.
you're absolutely right. Like I'm still like hugely obsessed with Oasis.
Yeah, yeah.
Which if you listen to a few of those songs, you'll probably that has to make complete sense. But like yeah, like I really still really am. And that came out that came because I saw like a documentary. I was watching MTV when I was like 13. I'd watch in the
Yeah.
summertime, I would watch like I swear to God 8 hours of MTV a day when I was
Yeah.
13. And it was all music videos like all the time and it was fantastic. And I think I saw like a short documentary about Oasis. I think they were just putting out What's the Story Morning Glory or something like that.
I think,
And
yeah.
it showed them like walking through a record store and like picking out Beatles records and like holding them up and like um and they were such unashamed like fans or like they would rip off the Beatles constantly
Yeah.
but with no shame.
Right.
um, and yeah, and so I was like, who's this band Oasis that likes the Beatles so much? Because I was just really into the Beatles up until then. And then yeah, it's kind of a similar thing. I just thought they were so like I totally bought into their whatever they were putting out there, They're so
Yeah.
cocky and like saying they were the best band. I totally bought it. So,
Well, if they said it, it must be true.
right. Yeah, yeah. Isn't that what Pete Townsend said? I think Pete Townsend said that about I think he was talking about Oasis and he said, if you hear a band tell you enough times that they're like the best band in the world, eventually you're going to believe it.
Right,
So,
right. It's
yeah.
it's it's that thing where if you just say it enough, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember as well watching tons of MTV when I was out of school. and I had it because I love music videos. I miss them.
Yeah.
I had it down to where I could tell you when Will Smith's Getting Jiggy with It was going to start,
Right.
when all the Spice Girls were going to play. Like I had it down to the time.
Like when they were going to air?
Oh yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah. It's and when during the TRL days.
Yeah,
Uh,
TRL, totally. Yeah.
I used to tell the teachers I was feeling sick, and if I could go call my mom, when really I would go call TRL and vote for whichever music video I wanted.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. I feel like such like a poser now because that's so legit. Wow. That's
uh,
incredible.
I have such good memories of MTV, especially when they started playing cartoons and it wasn't completely overtaken.
Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely. I remember it would like I still have memories of being a kid and waking up for school
mm,
when Odelay came out,
okay,
um, and like seeing the video for Jackass.
yeah,
And like still to this day, if I listen to Jackass, I mean, everyone probably does this. Everyone associates like a song with like a time in their life, but
right.
like I still like will immediately like within the first two beats of that song, I'll go back to that music video, like watching it sitting on my couch, like eating, like toaster strudels, getting ready for the eighth grade. So
Nice,
yeah, yeah,
nice. Good old MTV.
yeah.
May it rest in peace.
I know, right? Yeah.
Except I heard they're bringing back TRL.
I heard that, and the news on the street is that it wasn't received so well, but we'll
Oh,
see. I wouldn't listen too closely to what critics have to say, but
yeah.
stay optimistic, maybe.
There we go. So what is your for the new album that you have coming out? What is the writing process for that? I'm assuming it's the same as when you were 7, singing about joining the army.
Yeah, I just talk about joining the army and going to the zoo,
Yeah,
and yeah, that's really.
yeah. You joke. I'd listen to that. I really would.
For this one, without sounding too, um, I don't want to quote unquote talk about my process too
Right,
much.
right. Yeah,
But since you asked, a lot of the songs on this one, um, for a long time, so there was a period of my life when I really just played a lot of folk music. I think every songwriter at one point was obsessed with Bob Dylan, and
yeah.
and I was when I was in college, and I would write kind of like from the lyrics. I like go do the lyrics first, and then go from there. And that worked fine. I got a lot of really great songs with great lyrics, and then I remember I lived in New York City when I was doing this, and I would hang out in like the Village and like the East Village and Williamsburg and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
play open mics and stuff. And I would write lyrics like in churches, like in my like downtime. I was working at this coffee shop, or when I was teaching guitar lessons. There's so many giant cathedrals around New York City.
Right.
I would like pop into a cathedral, into a church, and like write lyrics and feel like the ultimate like beat poet. So yeah, that was always from lyrics. But so many of these songs, like there was just I remember just like something switched a few years ago, and I started just writing melodies first, and I wouldn't even like touch my guitar. Like
Mhm.
in the past, for most of my life, I would like pick a chord, right, and start strumming it, and
Right.
then see what would happen. But then I kind of realized if I just didn't even pick up my guitar and I just started, I guess almost like improvising melodies or something with sort of nonsense words. And I've since heard that tons of songwriters do this, but I didn't really know it at the time. I thought it was sort of like this this like new and exciting way that I had like figured out to write because it wasn't as structured as like sitting down to like write a verse, but
Right.
just improvising melodies with like these nonsensical words. And then after that, then like finding chord changes that would like work with it. And so what I found was that the melodies were so much more interesting because rather than having to find a melody that would adapt to the lyrics, which I had been doing forever, I had all these, it started at the melody. So the melody was always way more powerful, it seemed. It was more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would fit lyrics into that.
Okay.
So anyway, a lot of the songs on this album are like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And was there one song in particular that was a little bit trickier to crack, whether it was the music or the lyrics?
Um, boy, you know, a lot of them, if they took, it seems to go that if they're too difficult, they usually aren't that great.
Okay.
So I can't think of one that was maybe much of a struggle because if it was, I probably gave up on it.
Okay,
Uh,
so then let me
yeah.
ask the flip side to that. Was there one song in particular that was just, oh my god, it's super easy? And it took you, I don't know, 5 minutes to figure out something like that.
I'm going to give you two answers. I totally realize that that's a
Uh
lie. I think the best song on the album, wow, I'm just going to completely contradict myself.
oh.
1,000 Miles Apart.
Uh-huh.
That one I had like the verse and a chorus, and I went through all these different. I tried out all different distances, like I think 1 million miles apart, 500 miles. Anyway, it doesn't. But
Right.
and then eventually I was. This is so dangerous, but I was driving back from work, and I, you know, this melody for the middle section like popped into my mind, and I
Right.
think that's the best part of the song. It's where the song goes into like halftime. The
Yeah.
whole feel of it changes, and it's this really like sort of uplifting sort of change that happens in the bridge. Yeah, and so that was a song that I kind of had given up on because I couldn't find like a middle section and it seemed like the chorus wasn't working. But then when I was driving home and this bridge melody popped in my mind, because that one did take a while. That one I had given up on it, moved on, and then eventually it just sort of took care of itself.
Yeah.
But I managed not to kill anyone when I was driving home,
That's
getting out my
good.
phone to get the voice memos to like record the melody.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny how if you just come back to something later, the answer will just pop.
Oh
It'll just
yeah.
hit you.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if you like distract your mind while you're like if I'm sitting down to write something and I'm just like hitting a wall, if I just go do the dishes or if
Right.
I go, put the laundry in or something like that, then it'll just take care of itself without me even having to try. So, yeah.
Nice. Nice.
That's I like how that works out.
And for me, it's always the shower. It's like
Oh yeah.
I can't think of this. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna take a shower, and then it'll all work itself out.
Yeah, definitely.
But do you have a flip side to the question? Which
Yeah, the
song?
ones that were really easy
Yeah.
was I think um How I Lost You
Mm.
was I just remember that being very, very, it came out really easily. Um, that one did start with the piano part, unlike it wasn't lyrics first. Oh, you know what? I had the guitar. I can't even remember, dude. I did have the guitar. It was originally guitar, and I had this melody. Um, and then I sat down, and the piano part just seemed to work so well. Yeah, I just remember it was, I think I wrote it in like 2 hours or something.
Mm.
Yeah, it was just super easy. And I think that's probably that's definitely the top three, I think, for the record. I like I think it's really front heavy. I put all the best songs first. So I think
Gotcha.
thousand thousand miles apart, How I Lost You, and I think Distance Runner.
Distance
Probably,
Runner is
yeah.
great.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Are those your favorites to play live,
Um,
or do you have a different song? It doesn't even have to be your song.
right. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I think Distance Runner is great because it's not complicated, and
Mm.
so you can just bash your guitar when you're playing it. So that's always really great, right? You can just sort of like you're almost like a spectator almost. If you have to concentrate on too much, then you're sort of like it's hard to maybe you participate on a different level, like you enjoy it on a different level. But like with
Right.
easy songs, like there's like three chords, so it's just really great, and it's just all drums. Like the drums are huge, the guitar is huge. Yeah, so that's probably that's the favorite one to do live.
Nice. And so, in your opinion, and there's no right or wrong answer at all, what is a perfect song to you?
Yeah, man. I don't know. That's a hard one. I was in a band a few years ago, and it's so easy to like get into these huge intellectual conversations about what makes music great, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Or like I'm guilty of it myself. Like I'll if like a new album comes out, like the new Fleet Foxes album came out, and I found myself like the week or the weeks after listening to it, like, yeah, I really should get back to playing acoustic music. Like I really could use way more harmonies and stuff. Or, on the flip side, if I listen to like, Tame Impala, it's like, man, I really don't have enough like I need more fuzz guitar. Like like so I'm pretty like fickle. But as far as like what makes the perfect song, I don't know. This band that I was in, I started saying this band that I was in, we kind of just realized that what's good is good, right? Like if a
Right.
song is good, it's good. You could, you know, uh, the Velvet Underground can write a song that's just as compelling as like what's a progressive rock band? Let's just say like Led Zeppelin or something,
Yeah.
yeah. So both completely different formulas for making a song, but equally compelling. So what's good is good.
There we go. I like that. I like that mentality.
Yeah.
Is there a certain song that, or songs, I should say, that really inspired you whenever you're just feeling down or just something like, I'm feeling bad, I need a happy song, and you just pop it
Yeah,
in?
I don't know how familiar you are with Oasis,
Mm,
but there's this. It wasn't on an album; it was a single. It's called "Stay Young." Do you know this song?
I don't.
Yeah. So, oh man, um, that's a great one to listen to. They're just so optimistic,
Oh,
and like, and particularly that era. That was sort of like, I think that was kind of the Be Here Now era. So they were like at the peak of their. I guess that was the peak of their career, and
right.
that was only their third album. And it's funny, Noel says that they should have quit after that album. Like even though they had like I don't know how many more albums, four more albums after that.
uh,
He's like it was all downhill from there. But yeah, Stay Young is fantastic, and also The Waiting by Tom Petty, which
oh yeah.
I'm still crushed by that.
Uh,
So, but yeah, The Waiting, I don't know, every time that song. So
it's understandable. Very
yeah.
understandable. So for the people at home who would like to keep up with everything you do, as well as purchase the album when it's available, where can they do that?
Yeah, so the album's coming out December 1st. There's going to be the iTunes pre-sale is going to be November 1st. And then also if you go to a viewofearthfromthemoon.com, you can just sign up to the newsletter. And then when it's out, I'm just going to send out links to get the record.
There you go.
And then, yeah, the album release show, we're doing the Sunset on in Seattle, the Sunset on December 3rd. So if you're in the area,
Yeah, I'll be there.
next.
I'm lining up right now.
Sweet.
No, thank you so much for chatting with me, John. Like I said, I really enjoyed the music, and I love anything that makes me think of the '90s.
Ah, sweet. I appreciate it.
Yes, so I can't. Is there? So you? I know I was wrapping up, but not anymore. Is there? You said you wrote a lot of folk music, and now
Yeah.
you're doing this album. Is there another just type of music you would love to tackle?
I keep wanting to actually put out an official sort of folk record, which I never did back in the day.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think I would. There's so much of me that's like is like folk music is like a part of me. So um, that's yeah. If I had sort of a separate project, that would probably be the next on the list.
There you go. You could do a double album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a view from the folk, something like that.
Right. I dig it. That's
There
it.
you go. You know what? I've said this once. I'll say it again. Never listen to my ideas. All right,
No,
you'll.
that's a fine idea.
All right. Well, now it's your idea. So,
Okay.
but John, thank you so much for chatting with me. Anytime you want to come back, just let me know. All right, dude.
All right. Hey, thanks so much.
Thank you, and you have a wonderful day. And keep not getting sleep.
Oh yeah, I'm wide awake. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.